the memories emerge like snapshots, Polaroids.
We got people coming in.
For so many, that night exists in noise and still frame.
It was just carnage. It was just people shot.
Mental manifestations of the otherwise inexplicable.
There isn't a day goes by that I don't think about that theater. And there are so many people that still don't talk about it, that still don't release it. It's their private demon, and it haunts them.
Theirs are lives forever changed by memories, some of which have faded, some of which remain raw.
And there's plenty that were there that are not sitting here right now.
8 of the 100-plus officers who responded to one of the worst mass shootings in American history.
Who's a different person today than they were 5 years ago in a big way? Is that because of July 20th?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anybody here who doesn't think about it every day?
I think
In
about it
one
every
way
day.
or another? Yeah. It's still there.
Still there, even now.
Anybody still avoid going by that theater?
Yes.
Look at me and
John Gonzalez, first officer in.
I could still hear the gunfire when I got to the door.
John Merrick, second in.
People everywhere. There were still people inside, people down. We didn't know how many people were tied to this.
Brian Butler, now retired.
As I'm running towards the door and people are running out, they're like, all right, here in the next 30, 45 seconds is when I get shot. So here we go.
As more than 1,000 moviegoers poured out, they ran in.
There's no one else going to come. You're it. There's no one to call. There's no one going to show up. There's no one going to take your place. If you don't do it, no one else will.
The volume of this night was just beyond your senses.
Jerry Johnsgard, the sergeant.
You become a cop for a reason. This is the reason.
I was just one of the people that was on one side of the building.
Jason Oviatt, arresting officer.
When I first saw him, I thought he was a cop.
Few people are as averse to the H word as they.
Who's a hero here?
No.
Yeah, everybody who was there.
People call you guys heroes all the time.
That's super. It's a loose term. I mean, a hero is also a sandwich. So,
Ask them this, however.
Proud of you guys, of all the guys that are around you right now.
Immensely.
And the aversion dissipates.
So the only time I actually find myself getting choked up is when I talk about how proud I am of everybody's response.
Stephen Redfern, the officer who made a critical decision.
We've got to do something. These people are dying here, and we're not getting the help we need.
In less than 30 minutes, 27 of the most seriously wounded left not in ambulances, but in police cars. An evacuation of patients unlike anything anyone in this country had ever seen.
So that's what we did, and it seemed to work.
Cars are pulling up. We're picking people up. We're putting them in cars. The next car will pull up.
That saved lives.
You guys saved some lives that night.
We like to think so.
The doctors told us afterwards that everybody who had survivable injuries survived. So
and that was everybody that responded.
Proud of them.
Absolutely.
James Waselko, war veteran.
You don't expect to see those type of things in the United States.
He carried out wounded.
How you guys are all doing?
It depends.
On?
The day.
Yeah. And it's just kind of that, every once in a while, you still doing all right? Yeah, I'm doing okay. Just kind of go from there.
Yet, all right and okay aren't adjectives all of the officers might use.
You had one of the worst tasks that night.
I did.
Mike Hawkins, father of 6.
I could see it on your face. This is hard to talk about.
Yeah.
Carrying Veronica Moser Sullivan out of the theater was his assignment that night.
I could not find her pulse. And Sergeant Johnsgard just said, stop it, get her out of here. And I ran out with her, and when I got into the parking lot, I realized that she had expired. And
5 years later, he can still feel every word he said to Veronica's parents.
And it was important to me that they knew that that she was taken out by Daddy, and that I have a daughter that age, and I'm very cognizant of what was lost.
What was lost for them and for him?
There was a period of time where it became kind of like a PTSD experience to carry my daughter upstairs to bed.
Just one of a multitude of memories that exist
We weren't going to leave anybody behind.
in still frame,
That's what we get paid to do, make an end.
Polaroid.
People lived.
Memories of a night that will forever live in the minds of those who responded so quickly.
You cannot move on from that, no. No. It will always be a part of you, for better, for worse. And I'm trying to look at the for better aspect of it.
It's over here!
Consider the periodic interludes.
And each year it gets better.
Consider them. The calm before the swarm.
I mean, I don't even think I can put it in words, honestly.
Nope.
Not even Jeremy Valenzuela
All lights.
will pretend to fathom the true extent of this luminous lunacy.
And there's a Santa!
It's a ton of work.
Now in his 19th year,
But nothing good in life comes without a little hard work, right?
Mike Medhurst has yet to meet a bulb he doesn't light.
And to see the smiles on their faces is priceless. That's my gift. They come out to see the lights, and I come out to see the smiles on their faces.
His own tribute to Christmas. And as American as apple pie, if that pie also contains 180,000 lights and its own low-powered FM radio station.
If you play music in your car, the lights will like follow the beat of the music.
Yet in this corner of Greeley's 50th Avenue Court, you can't blame the neighbors for considering, if not downright deliberating, the stark difference between the haves and the have not so much.
They're getting a little creaky in the old age, but they're good.
Diana and Kenny Behrens
Pretty like an appetizer.
live in a world where competition is simply not an option.
You really don't have to when you have that down there.
I mean, it's quite the show.
Neighborhood newbie Aaron Hansen
I got the icicles up on the house.
knew he was in for it the moment he saw his neighbor putting up lights weeks before Halloween.
I was like, wow, man, this guy really goes all out.
His response?
Got the holograms up. And I got a snowflake that doesn't really work.
No, they say they do not consider this a reflection of themselves, even though
I always said that I was just going to put mirrors on my roof and we were just going to reflect off of his lights.
And so what if the egress occasionally stinks?
There's a lot of traffic.
And if their lights seldom blink?
But I was thinking maybe next year a little bit more.
Around here, they figure, sometimes it's simply easier
I like to add a tree.
to share in the spotlight
That'd be kind of cool.
when you're still well within reach of its all-powering glow.
This is beyond crazy.
Chris Vanderveen, iNews. This is a story about urine. No, this is not urine, just apple juice. Real urine is gross. And as we said,
I panicked.
this is a story about urine. Sharon Hensley's actually, and why the testing of hers led to this four-figure charge.
We could have gone to like Hawaii or something for that.
Or Paris. Round trip for her and her two kids. 5 nights nice hotel.
Bonjour.
And even a few 5-star restaurants.
Oui, oui.
Not that she's going.
I suppose that you could just pull out your wallet and plopped out $6,200.
Well, they're gonna, good luck.
So now's the time we should tell you what a urine screen can cost. And in order to do that, let's introduce you to Richard Matucci and his pee cup.
That's exactly what it is.
He'll test your urine for all sorts of things.
You can do a pretty good test for less than $100.
Less than $100.
For that, it'll tell you if your urine tests positive for 20 drugs. Some legal, some not. Add a few more drugs and the cost goes up a little.
The high 200s most likely.
So what happened to Sharon?
I now have chronic pain in my chest.
Stick with us, because this will make more sense in a moment. Recently, Sharon went here to Dimensions Pain Management after numerous surgeries left her with nearly daily flares of chest pain, according to medical records she gave us.
When your heart hurts, your brain is not happy.
Dr. Leif Sorensen asked her for a urine screen. We'll show you this. Not hers, because, yeah, gross. Anyway, urine screens are now common in pain management. Blame the country's addiction to painkillers. Doctors order a test in order to tell if you're actually taking what you say you're taking.
You don't get a choice. For a urine screen.
For urine screen, yeah.
So remember Matucci's test. That test tells you if you test positive or negative for, let's say, 20 drugs. It's cheap and easy and involves one test and one charge. Let's call that the cheeseburger test. Yum. Why? It'll make more sense in a moment. There's another test that can also be done in order to know specifically how much of each drug is in a person's system. It's more complex. Instead of one test for 20 drugs, this involves testing the urine sample 20 times for 20 drugs. 20 tests, 20 charges. That can get pricey. So we'll call it the filet mignon of urine screens. Delicious. Others call it a profit grab.
And there's just no other way to explain the numbers when it comes to urine drug testing.
California attorney and urine drug testing expert Harry Nelson says 80% of the filet mignon tests are not medically necessary.
Basically, a lot of money is being spent to test for something where we already know the answer.
Which brings us back to Sharon. She initially did a cheeseburger test. It turned up negative for everything but this. And that was to be expected because she told the doctor beforehand she was taking the prescribed barbiturate. Still didn't stop the doctor from checking box after box after box for the additional and more expensive round of testing.
This one right here, 104.
Hey. Hi, my name's Sharon.
Golden-based Insight Labs then proceeded to do test after test after test.
Right now, this is telling her what she owes is $62.50.
As we explained to a camera-shy lab tech, Insight's tests offered little insight, other than to confirm that a 41-year-old mother of two with no history of drug abuse was not taking cocaine, meth, ketamine, fentanyl, ecstasy. You get the point.
You're supposed to direct all your questions to Justin.
Yeah, Justin's not calling me back.
Eventually, he did tell us this.
More than likely, we'll just be losing money on it.
If her insurance wouldn't pay the $6,000, she wouldn't know a thing. Which might make you wonder, why should you care? Well, let's just say there are a lot of labs doing this, and sometimes someone does end up paying, like, let's say, the state of Colorado, and you, and me.
When I tell you that Colorado is now spending 26 times more per month on urine screens than it did in 2014, what do you think?
I think that's a lot.
We found the state's Medicaid program in 2014 spent on average $52,000 a month to urine screen Coloradans. Last year, it spent $1.35 million a month, and the state didn't even know about it.
How do you not notice that?
Until we told the program's medical director, Dr. Judy Zerzan.
We had looked into this a couple of years ago when other states were having this problem, but hadn't refreshed that until you brought it to our attention.
Very concerning to me, Chris. First I've heard of it.
We told State Representative Joanne Janal the state didn't just pay more because of more patients. Our data found in 2014 Medicaid paid for 1.4 tests per month per patient. In 2016, it paid for nearly 8 tests per month per patient.
Do you think your colleagues would be interested in this data?
I think they would, yes.
She's asking for a review.
We're always looking for ways to do things better.
As for Insight, a spokesperson told us it operates in accordance with all laws and only performs tests under the orders of a prescribing physician. Centura Health, which owns the prescribing physician's practice, refused comment on the story.
Thank you.
Leaving us to wonder if our story about urine really isn't a story about urine after all.
I don't think that these companies realize how much stress this puts on the patients.